Really excited about the three pieces that we just added to our roster. They're going to be true Greyhounds through and through. They all value excelling in all aspects in the life, in the classroom, the community, and on the basketball court. Jarvis Walker, Bruno Williams, AJ Holobar. I think they're going to be people that Greyhound fans like seeing in our uniforms. Jarvis comes to us from Purdue Fort Wayne. Cool thing about Jarvis and I's relationship is I actually recruited Jarvis to Purdue Fort Wayne when I was an assistant. Never got a chance to coach him because right when he was graduating high school, before he came to Purdue Fort Wayne, I took the job to be the head coach here at the University of Indianapolis. So was never one of those things where I actually coached Jarvis, but was the primary recruiter in his recruitment to Purdue Fort Wayne, and he spent 2 years up there and did a really good job. Had some really good moments up there, and ultimately when he decided to leave and look for a new school, I was excited because I was like, oh my, I've always wanted to actually coach him. That's why I recruited him. Now I get to actually do that now. And Jarvis is a kid that I was really, really close with from a relationship standpoint, not only with him but his family as well. And I think he's a heck of a ball player. He can play all three guard spots. He can handle it. He can play off the ball. He can score it. He's strong. He's tough. He's about the right stuff. And he's just a winner and a real competitor and a hard worker. And he's about what we're about as a program. And I can't wait to finally get the opportunity to coach him. Bruno Williams was kind of a blessing in disguise the way that all came about. Very seldom do you get someone of Bruno's experience and credentials, but even fewer times do you get him from your own conference. And Bruno comes to us from Lewis in our conference. And by nature of the new transfer rules, if you transfer before a certain date, you become eligible immediately regardless. It used to be when you transferred within conference, unless you were a grad transfer, you couldn't play right away. Well, Bruno can because of the new transfer rules. And that's an example where that kind of helps us because not only do we get better, one of our opponent's best players arguably isn't on their roster anymore. And, Bruno, he was second team All-GLVC last year. Arguably could have and probably should have been a first team along with Jesse Bingham, who's a second teamer that I felt should have been a first team guy last year. So we're going to have two returning all-conference players on our team this year by adding Bruno with Jesse and a handful of other guys that I think should be this upcoming year. So Bruno was second team All-GLVC last year. He also 2 years ago, his first year at Lewis, because he came from Parkland Junior College, Lewis won the GLVC championship game. And what I look at Bruno as a guy who's been there, done that. We made our program's first GLVC championship game this year. It was an unbelievable accomplishment. But we got there, and there was moments in that game that we lost to UMSL that you could tell it was our first game in that moment. But now we have everybody on our team that's a year older and has been there, done that. We also have a guy who's been in that game and won that game before. So I feel like in those big moments, having a guy like him is going to be a real asset to us, and he provides a maturity to us. He knows our league. And he kind of recruited us. When we went in that portal, he called us and said, hey, I can tell by playing against you guys that you have a really good thing going on. I want to come be a part of it. And to me, that was awesome. It's a guy who truly wants to be here. AJ Holobar comes to us from Center Grove High School. I'm excited to add AJ, local product. Both AJ's parents are alums here and former Greyhounds. Bart Holobar played here on the men's team, was one of the best teams ever in school history under Royce Waltman in 1997. That was number one in the country. Had a really good career here. And his mother, Angie Holobar, her maiden name is Lilenko for Greyhound fans, played here as well at the same time. So, AJ's a legacy on both men's and women's basketball program. But neat thing about AJ is kid's a gym rat. He worked our kids camp, and he hang out in the gym for 2-3 more hours getting shots up after camp. You can't get him out of here. And I think that work ethic is going to bode well for AJ, and he's going to find himself in a good position down the road in his career. And he's, just like I said, an incredibly hard worker. I think his best basketball is ahead of him, and played for a really good high school coach in Zach Hahn, former Butler player at Center Grove, and in the MIC, which is the best non-prep league basketball you're going to get at the high school level. So I think he'll translate very well here and be a nice addition to the two freshmen that we signed in the fall. I'm really excited about the guys that we've added, not just the three this spring, but Sean Craig and Sean Tupuola, who we added in the fall. I think the 5 of these guys are great players, but they're great people. They're all good students. They're true Greyhounds. They're about winning in all aspects of life. And that's what we strive to do here in our program. And we still have the capacity to bring in more from a scholarship standpoint. I have the scholarship ability to bring in more players if I choose to, and I might not. It's one of those things where I'm just kind of evaluating right now. Two things to keep in mind with that is I never want to bring in a player just to bring in a player. Just because you have the scholarship availability to do it. We have a 15-man roster right now that's really, really good. I love it. But if the player comes available that can take us over the edge or be really good for us down the road, then yeah, we'll look at doing that. Also, you don't want to just take someone just to take someone, because we have such good culture. You don't want to mess with what you're going on. So I'm going to sit back, be patient, and also sitting on that scholarship. What that can do is keep everybody else motivated. You don't want anybody else getting content. Whether that means from a standpoint of if someone isn't doing what they're supposed to do this summer in the classroom or on the court, I can hold those guys accountable and bring somebody else in to take their spot. But like I said, I think having that having the ability to add but not necessarily doing it puts us in a position that regardless of which way we decide to go, our program is going to be in the best place possible. And I love where we're at. I love where this group can go, and we'll see what happens with the rest.